In this bar, there are a certain amount of ducks.
Hmm.
How many ducks would have to be in this bar? They have a good happy hour deal. How many ducks have to be in this bar before you're like, I'm out. I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to drink or perform at this bar. There's too many ducks in here.
Man, it have to be a shitload of ducks.
Talking to a person, who could it be? It's TBD with IRV.
Hello, my beautiful beings, and welcome to another episode of TBD with IRV. I'm your host, Isabella Vergun, and today we're going to just talk to some fantastic people, fantastic person. We're going to be talking to Jessie Terry, writer, musician, songwriter. I think it's going to be a really good time.
I think so.
Yeah, that's my hope. For those of you who don't know, never tuned into the show before, TBD with IRV is sort of just a very casual interview show where we talk about, I interview people from all walks of life who work on creative projects, artists, small business owners, and people who are doing really cool stuff right now, and especially how that has changed and evolved during the pandemic, how they're doing, how you can support them. So I'm really excited because Jessie, I don't even remember, but I think the first time I went to one of your concerts, I was like a teen.
Yeah,
Quite
I'm sure.
young.
Yeah, because I met your mama like so long ago.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Yeah.
opening up for like Liz Longley, like I
That
don't
would
know.
do it.
I think she posted something on Facebook recently. I think it was like 2012 or
Oh my
just
God,
so long
2012?
ago. I was like just starting.
I was like
You know?
17.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious. Oh wow. Okay. So
I think.
that makes total sense. We kind of go way back,
We
all things
do. We do.
considered.
I feel
Although I
that.
was just talking to my mom because I know that she's gone, and I think Maddie's probably gone too. And of course my dad, because he's most places where my mom is. That I don't think I've ever seen you in your own concert. Like I've seen your live streams and your virtual concerts, but I think I saw you the first time opening for Liz.
Yeah.
And then every time they went to a concert, for some reason, like I wasn't in the state or I was somewhere else. And I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, you're going to have fun seeing Jessie. Tell him I said hi, I guess. I'm sad I can't be there.
Yeah, we'll fix that in the future.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being on today. I'll start off with kind of what I like to ask. It's sort of a two-part question because I think a lot about when people talk about when it is that we kind of figured out what we want to do. I think there are these two moments of whenever it was when we were kids or when we were young that we were like, this is something I love. And then there's that moment, usually in adulthood, where you're like, this is my vocation. Like, this is what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
And I'm curious for you if you can remember what those moments are, like how it was that you came to love music and writing and that sort of stuff. And then when it was that you decided that this is what you were going to do.
Yeah. Well, music was like the first thing. Like before that, I was into, I was still into animals, but I was, wanted to be a vet. I wanted, I was going to school for fine art, which I loved, and I thought I was, fairly good at it. Could have been a contender there, but I started playing music, and then like that was the only thing that like I never could quit, and I never wanted to. Well, that's not true. I've wanted to,
Yeah.
but but I can't, so yeah, I kind of looked at it from the very start as like my vocation without even before I even thought about like, how am I going to make a living from this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think because of that like determination, like that complete commitment to it, I've always figured out how to make a living from it, even though I didn't like know the path ahead, like after Berkeley, I got a publishing deal just because I like, won some songwriting contest, and that led to that. And then like touring kind of, happened, and I never gave that up. And then the pandemic happened, and I put the music out there, and like good things came back. I just kind of believe that these things just happen if you're like committed to it.
Yeah. There's something about, and again, there might be a naivete on my part saying this, because I think I did very much the same when it came to screenwriting. Like, I'm here just like an idiot, just like, oh yeah, this is the only thing I want to do with my life. I have no backup plan. But there
Yeah,
is something kind of, there's sort of, when you've got that kind of fire of like, this is what I do. This is
yeah,
what I this is what I do. This is what I am. And then you just keep making that thing, the
right.
tenacity of that, and
Mhm.
the it's not quite, I kind of like to think that like we make our own luck when it comes to this sort of stuff. Like you
Right.
put some good energy into the universe and then some good energy comes back. That's the hope anyway. That's my
I
hope.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
110%. So when did you first start playing music? Were you young? Did you take it up when you were older?
Yeah, I was kind of older. Like, I had a broken leg or something. My mom gave me like her old Yamaha guitar, and like I just started playing and just loved it, and just really wanted to get good enough to write songs, like
Yeah.
just like I think a lot of people like they pick up the guitar and like they really want to learn the solo to like Stairway, and like I did as well, but never enough to learn it. Like,
Yeah.
like I really just wanted to like learn how to write songs and be able to create that, So I just kept going with that, and yeah, before long I dropped out of art school. Yeah.
When I'm curious though, because I actually didn't know that you went and you were studying fine art. So
Yeah.
what does that was that when you study fine art, is there a meet like were you into painting or is it just kind of a broad? I want to know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, of course, it's different for everybody, but I mean, I loved like really intense, like down to the molecule, like pencil drawing and like charcoals and like stuff like that. But I loved oil painting as well. Yeah, I loved it. I still love it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's so time consuming, and you know some it seems like some people can do like 10 things like amazingly well, like a Joni Mitchell or something, but like for me, I kind of have to like focus on a few, like
But I think
so
that, I mean, I think that's so important to have those things that you love and are creative outlets outside of, again, I keep using the word vocation because I feel like it has kind of more weight to it than, career or something like that.
right.
But, especially when you do kind of what we do and you work in a creative industry, there's a certain amount where writing is still an escape and it's wonderful and you love it. And then you also have to like, you can't, I speak for me now only.
Yeah.
I cannot be like, I need a break. I'm going to go write something fun. Like, I need to be like, I need a break. I'm going to go make a bad painting. Like I need something else that I'm able to do without any kind of pressure or productivity stress. That's just purely chaotic creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I have that as much. I mean, like, I think when I need a break, like, I mean, it doesn't happen very often, like, that I feel that way, but I think I just want to do something completely non-musical, like non-social media.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't happen that often because I'm usually involved in so many different things. Like right now, I'm not writing, but I'm getting ready for like so many recordings. And like an album release and different things like that. So like when I go back to writing, like it will be really new and
Yeah.
really exciting. I mean, almost to the point where I feel like, oh man, I've never written a song before. Like it'll, what I mean? But it will come back. Like, but
Yeah. No, that makes some sense that there's the kind of the ebb and the flow of the different points within
yeah,
musicianship where you can kind of take and really enjoy that as it is.
yeah,
Do
season.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just interrupting you as I
No,
do.
no. I think
Um,
yeah.
no, I'm curious too in terms of, is there a point, do you feel like you're able, again, I don't know if this is a loaded question. I'm always kind of talking through my thoughts and then I'm like, this question seems like it only has one answer. But in terms of being a musician, being a professional musician, being somebody that this is your life and your livelihood,
Yeah.
do you find that there's a part of the process that there's some kind of that there where do you find the most and the least amount of pressure, I suppose, in it, in terms of like, you know, there's the songwriting process, there's the part where you're like actually like putting the song together, you do a lot of collaborations, there's the recording, and I
Yeah.
know that some of that can feel very freeing and very, you know, fun. Sometimes there is more pressure to it. Again, you're doing it right, hopefully all of it can feel very fun
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
some point, you know, but for you personally, is there a point that you really look forward to? Are there points where you know that your patience is like the shortest with a certain part? You know what I'm talking about in
Yeah.
the kind of whole process of it.
Sure. Sure. Um, yeah. I mean, of course, like there's things maybe I enjoy more than others. I mean, certainly like the whole. I mean, like this year I'm working with like a really awesome digital marketing company that's like teaching me so much about like different videos, and like I just got on TikTok. I'm like doing whatever like they suggest, and
You on
just
TikTok now?
like just yeah, I'm on TikTok. I mean, like they're helping me like kind of edit stuff. I mean, I can't, like I said like before, like you can't do everything. Like, and I
Yeah.
like the very first meeting I talked to them, I said, listen, like I really want to get better in these ways, and I'm really interested in letting you guys be experts and teaching me, but like the like the music has to come first, and like I can't let that suffer. But at the same time, like if nobody hears the music, then like did it really happen, so like they're both really important, but like it does start with the music. So but yeah, I guess like if there was any part of it, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, because it's not really, well, it is part of the creative process, like um fan funding and like getting all of those things ready. Like that's like we're doing that right now. We're launching a fan funding in March, and like there's all kinds of creative stuff in that. Like how what's the story? What's the message? Like like how do we ask for money? How do we create? And now also how do we create all these things that like hopefully it's not a donation. Like hopefully we're giving people like really cool things and value.
Yeah.
So like, it is still really creative. Um, but that's probably, if there was a part of it that was my least favorite, I'm sure most musicians would feel the same, but I mean,
Yeah.
as far as pressure goes, like there's just normal pressure in everything. But I think as long as you I exercise and kind of meditate and do like what are they called, intentions. I do that every single day, like as part of my like mental health like process, like mental health, like what's the word for it, regimen, or like just basic upkeep,
Yeah.
like like
That's that kind of the mental health self-care process.
yeah, I need to personally do that. So like as long as I'm in the right headspace of like positivity and gratitude, and belief in myself, then like I can tackle those things that would freak me out and still get nervous, of course, but but I can get to the point where I'm as prepared as I can be for like recording, for instance, or like or
Yeah.
when I sit down to write, I'm like I'm not getting in the way of myself, because I'm letting it go and not being too hard on myself as I'm creating. So like
Yeah.
just things I've learned, over the years. Like I mean, same as performing, you know what I mean? Like sure, of course there's pressure, but like if you believe in yourself and you visualize yourself like hitting all the right notes and really enjoying the experience, like it makes it so much easier if you're prepared. Like
Yeah.
but like of course you have to be prepared. It's not just a magic thing. You can't just visualize hitting the note if you don't work on your singing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as long as I do that stuff and like um it seems to work out pretty well, and like I seem to get better, which is good. Always trying to get better. I don't know if that like answered your question, but it's like,
It does. No, it does.
yeah,
And I think that's really interesting specifically because I think sometimes there's sort of a, and you probably are familiar with this too, that there's sort of a romanticism of bad mental health for artists. There's
yes.
sort of an
Mhm.
idea of like, you have to be tortured and full of angst and drunk
Right.
to like write good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's definitely not, at least the image that you project most of the time. You're a very positive person, and you're very, and very kind of optimistic, and you're talking about all this wonderful stuff and how you take good care of yourself, which these are all things that I think it's so important right now, especially, but it's kind of a little bit, I'm hoping it's becoming more usual within the arts community, but that's not really been for years and years. That's not really been the kind of narrative of
Yeah.
how one creates good art.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, and oh, totally. I like it. This topic means a lot to me because that's another thing when I talk to the marketing company about like my brand or whatever, because everything is a brand, like I'm just like, well, I've been okay with this for a while, but I'm now very okay with saying that like like at the moment, like we don't even drink, you know what I mean? We certainly don't do drugs anymore. Because I already have, you know what I mean? I've
Yeah,
already like been down that road, and that's not like an image that I need to portray. I'm very, very happy with like portraying the image, which is what I'm going for, which is to be like a really happy person and like a good father and a good husband. You know what I mean? Like, and if someone doesn't think that that's hip, then like, you know, bugger off. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I don't really care. I mean, it's so it's um, but yeah, I've already done all that other stuff. I've already, abused alcohol and drugs, and I've already had that sorrow in my life. So I don't like, but I think that's all very very useful. I mean, even if you're just going back to the well, I do see the value in like and you learn as a touring songwriter that almost everybody's like has some skeletons and has gone through some really like deep shit, so
yeah.
like I don't know if you can cuss on that. I didn't mean to cuss,
Oh,
but
you can cuss as much as you want.
yeah, oh good.
The full
um
fucking show here.
cool. I wasn't sure. I don't normally do it at my shows, but yeah, like everyone's been through some deep shit, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah,
um so yeah, songwriters and artists can certainly, I think, really benefit from using that, because it gives you empathy to other people,
yeah,
and makes your gives your song some weight, and some like when they need to have that weight, and like it's just honest, I
yeah,
mean, so I don't so I definitely think that art can be like, and also there's artists are generally very sensitive, and like, so I'm not saying there's no struggle, but I think that like um as far as like trying to make yourself a better person, and like
yeah.
and nothing against, some people can drink, they can do whatever, like that doesn't mean they're a bad person,
No,
but
but moving away from the notion of romanticizing the self-destructiveness that is inherent to art. It's like
yeah,
we can all have bad shit, we can have good shit, we can be whoever, and you can still take whatever those experiences are and create something beautiful out of that.
yeah. I definitely feel like I've written songs drunk, I've written songs on substances. I definitely think my best work has been like as a father, like clean and totally sober, you know what I mean? So it's it's all good. I mean, I don't really buy the whole thing that I think the Beatles would have made amazing music no matter what they
Yeah,
took. Yeah.
that's yeah, I really love that. No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I was depressed for a really long time. I mean, I am. We're always, I guess, in a state where, but
Yeah, sure.
I was very kind of reticent to get help that I needed because I was worried that it would affect the quality of the art that I was producing. I was like, am I going to still think the way that I do? And then I started getting the help that I needed, and then I was like, oh, I'm just happier and I have the same thought. Like, okay, all right, like I can function. Um,
Right.
but
It's
I
not,
think,
yeah.
oh, go ahead, continue.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's not that you disconnect from like the emotions or your past or anything. You can
No,
access those things. Probably better.
probably better. You can just
Yeah.
function better, on the day to day.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that one thing, and again, I don't know if you can attest to this, I have found one of the most interesting things about this pandemic is a lot of people who haven't experienced either anxiety or depression or something are kind of feeling, I think there's a sense, like I have anxiety disorder, and I
Yeah.
think there is a sense sort
Same.
of where you're just kind of, oh, everyone feels like me now. Everyone feels like I've felt for my entire life.
Right.
And it really doesn't help, but there's something about feeling a little more emotionally prepared for it. I'm just like, oh yeah, like this is
Yeah. This is just regular. This is
regular.
normal. Yeah.
But it's kind of, I mean, again, I'm not gonna go as far as to say like, thank God I have anxiety disorder. It's such a boon to me right now. But I think it's been able to give me some perspective in terms of like, now people, I'll talk to friends or family and they'll be like, yeah, like I don't know, I've just been feeling this kind of, I've got all this stomach stuff and I'm just kind of got this like low grade headache all the time. And I was like, it's because you're stressed.
Like welcome.
Welcome. Let me
Yeah.
let me tell you some of my coping mechanisms that might help you, because I know how to do this. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but it's been really interesting talking to artists about this and how that's kind of, you especially, you are very much a collaborative artist. A lot of your, I mean, I think the last full release album that you did, 2018, Natural, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So that's almost entirely collaborations, covers, fucking amazing album, first of all.
Thank you.
um but you, and kind of what you were talking about earlier, you are a musician who collaborates with people a lot. Dar Williams, our mutual friend Liz Longley,
Yeah.
many other fantastic musicians. And I know that's been a huge change over kind of the distance, that
Yeah.
it's changed the way that collaborating works. And I don't think it's stopped collaboration, but it's definitely been a shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God, I made this whole, so yeah, when the pandemic started, like, well, not right away, but like a few months later, I think I decided to like invest in like a home studio. I haven't had one since like Berkeley, and like
Yeah.
that was like in like 2000 to 2004. So
Wow. Yeah.
a lot of technology has changed like drastically, of course, so like right over here I have this studio. It's just it's so small, but like I was able to make this like 20 song like holiday album last
Yes.
year, and like and
November. It was it's, I mean, obviously it's post Christmas now, but it's peace. It's
piece,
Christmas peace.
yeah, it's not really officially out until this year, but we were able to like get it out to like fans and like get physical, kind of a limited release, so we could like really go after it this
Yeah.
year. But yeah, that was like, sending it down to these amazing musician friends in Nashville who have their own, everyone's got their own studio now, um, and that's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite things I've done. And like this, I'm starting a covers album on March 1st, and like, my wife and I and our little girl, like we're driving down to South Carolina to this tiny little town we've never heard of before, and like we got this like little lake house. We're really excited, but we're recording like all my parts there, and then it's getting sent to Nashville, where like a masked band is like playing it, like a lot of my friends. Um, but I
Yeah.
won't be there because I'm like, it's just not it's not really worth that risk right now to like just go to another place, and it's expensive and stuff. So I'll be like watching all the sessions on Zoom and getting like a high quality audio feed. So yeah, it's totally different, but I mean,
Yeah.
um, but it can work so well. And I know that, and there's some benefits that like I'm getting to like do my vocals and guitars like by myself on my own time. And I feel like without there being a timeline really, and without like people looking over my shoulder, I feel like it's like the best vocals and stuff I've ever done. So it's just it's
Yeah.
really strange, you know, like, and I can do them like if my voice is feeling really great at like 5, I can start singing at 5, you know, like it's just where like in Nashville, like the session would be booked, and like
Yeah.
I might do some vocals before like it's the right time, you
Yeah.
know? So like there's been some real positive things there too, you know?
I mean, I think that's such a cool thing that even in the face of kind of this adversity that a lot of people have been dealing with, and it's been hard for everybody,
Yeah.
especially people obviously in lower economic strata, especially people who are in places where they don't value covering, you know, taking good care of yourself as much. But especially for musicians and for creative people, like we really had to sort of shift, but also I think find a lot of innovation. Like I've been really kind of amazed in the interviews that I've been having how people have really been like, okay, I can't leave my house really. I still need to make art.
Right.
I still need to run my business. I still need to do, you know, whatever it is. How can I still achieve this? And it's been really, I gotta say, it's been really kind of inspiring. It's been really inspiring just watching people be like, yeah, like we're still gonna make this album. I'm still gonna create suits for people. I'm still gonna, whatever it is, I'm gonna move this digital dance party. I'm gonna move this dance party online so that everyone can join. It's been like wonderful that even in, and I think all of us would prefer not to be in a pandemic right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that we've been learning skills and adaptations that even once this is all done, allows for more options in the future. That, you know,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to schedule a trip down to this place. We can still create music together.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think, I mean, and like there's a very strange thing about like not like expressing gratitude because of the pandemic. Like, because yeah, it had like, you know, you can always, or you say like throw that out there. It's been really challenging, you know what I mean? But it happened. It you know, and we're still in it. So like you know, Jess lost her job. My wife Jess like lost her job really soon into it. She was like worked in live events,
Yeah. That would
like
do it.
managing like liquor tastings and stuff in stores and golf courses, you know, so all kinds of stuff like that. And you know, she lost that almost right away. So it was kind of like, wow, it was, you know, we always kind of said, oh yeah, someday I'll make enough money where she could just kind of join the family business and like, you know, we'll work together all the time. And but we weren't like 2020 wasn't the year that that we were planning that. So, but you know, she's been getting back into like photography, which is what she did when I met her, and you know, taking all the photos from my album, like my new albums, which are like some of my favorite photos I've ever had, you know, because I'm with my wife, and like we can go out to the location 3 times if we need to, and so it's just another blessing. And then hopefully, like, you know, hopefully all that stuff will be there when life comes back, and um you know, we're always thinking about like, okay, how do we replace that income, you know,
Yeah.
how do we do this and that. But I think we've been really lucky to be able to have some to be able to work towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jess and Jesse, which is always, I'll never personally get over it, but I'm sure you have by now. You're like, all right. It's funny, not married, but my roommate's Isabel, so we're Isabella and Isabel. And people are always asking us, they're like, doesn't that make it hard? It's like, I'm not calling myself by my name. If I'm
Right.
saying Isabel, there's only one other person. It's not like you're walking around going, Jesse.
Yeah.
But if I am recalling correctly, you guys have like a very lovely sort of origin story, you and Jess.
Yeah. Yeah, we just met like, so I mean, I lost my job in Nashville, like right around that big recession time. Like, so another kind of major life changing time. And like took this job playing cover songs on a cruise ship in the South Pacific, and like I met Jess there. Like on the second day, I was still like so jet lagged and like wearing a suit like on formal night on the cruise, like playing like Brown Eyed Girl or something, you know. And she like that was just it. Like she smiled at me and like that was it. And it was such a great thing because you know Jess was like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I had this job writing songs. I really love playing though. You know, I've been kind of doing showcases in Nashville and stuff." And she's like, "Well, don't you just want to tour and just play?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, but it just kind of freaks me out. Like, how do you know? What if we don't make enough money?" And you know, she's like, "Well, you should just go after that." So yeah, really, Jess got me started. Like, and and her saying that she would come to America, leave New Zealand, and like come to America to tour and live out of the car and stuff. Like, I mean, what more kind of do you need? You know, what more belief in do you need? She's always been completely behind me, and then has really loved it as well. You know,
Yeah.
because I always ask her
Yeah.
what she wants to do, and of course she has her things like photography and stuff, but she always wants us to be together. You know, and including our daughter, and you know, if we have any other kids in the future, like that's been like the number one priority for us was that like you know she's had jobs before where I've had to tour by myself, like for weeks at a time, and that just that doesn't work for us personally, you know. So we worked really
I don't
hard.
like this.
The what? What'd you
I
say?
don't like this. I miss
No.
my wife. I wish she was here.
Yeah, it's just no. There's no joy. I mean, it's okay. You can do it once in a while, and it's okay, and you can deal with it. But if it's your whole life, then you're not seeing your wife. You're not seeing your kid. I mean, for me, that wasn't doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I
How
know it.
old
Yeah.
is your daughter now?
Oh my God, Lily's like 2.5. She's
Lily's
she's like
2.5.
growing up so big. Yeah, she's really she's quite the character. She's like just the sweetest girl, you know, but like so funny, like always laughing, like wakes up in the middle of the night laughing. Like she's just been. I mean, like and that's been really comforting too because I've just read so much about how kind of that age group is they're kind of okay right now. Like Lily's different than she was when we were touring and stuff, and she was really young. She wasn't afraid of anybody. Now when she sees a person, she's kind of like, whoa, like what, you know, who are you? Like,
Intruder
why
into
are
the
you?
world.
Why is there another human being like in my presence? You know, like so, you know, because half her life has been in the pandemic, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, at the same time, she's like thriving. I think, you know, I mean, well, I know she's thriving.
Yeah.
So that makes me really, really happy. I mean, I know it's not every age group handles it the same, but she's at a place right now where she mainly just needs her parents and she needs, you know, she needs her imaginary friends and her arts and crafts and stuff. Like, so we can give her, I think, pretty much everything she needs right now.
Yeah.
So
How I am this is a genuine, this is me just following the track of the, in terms of imaginary friends, what does that look like? I made up my imaginary friend. I pretended to have an imaginary friend so I would fit in with the other kids.
yeah, yeah.
What kind of imaginary friends does Lily have?
You know, I shouldn't even say imaginary friends. It's more like she, it's more like she brings life to so many animals and babies that are, you know,
Oh, I love that.
obviously not alive, but I mean, she has. I mean, I'm glad I got these because I think I found some yard sale or something where there was like just hundreds of like perfect stuffed animals and different things, and like I bought so many, and she wasn't interested at all forever. And like one day she just like decided this group of animals and babies and you know like they were her friends, you know, and she says hello to each and every one of them every single morning and like says goodnight to each one every night and like you know find bear, find pig, find baby, like you know what I mean, like she sleeps.
That's
I
so
mean,
cute.
it's really cute. I mean, like and she's very passionate about them, you know, and if one's
Yeah.
missing, like she knows there's hundreds of these things, and she knows if like there's one bird missing. Yeah.
Meticulousness of children always blows my mind. I think kids are fascinating. It's probably a good reason I shouldn't have one right now, because I'm just like, ooh, interesting. Like I just want to watch them.
They study.
Yeah, maybe couple years down the line.
Yeah, you'll know. You'll know.
I had a question submitted. Obviously by my mother, because she loves you so much. She wants to know, without thinking too much, who would you name as your top 3 musicians of all time? And obviously this is very subjective, but off the cuff, who would you say?
Probably like James Taylor, Beatles, and like I don't know, maybe Springsteen or Neil I don't know, like some. Yeah, those are just like the first few that come to mind. I mean, like James Taylor, just because like that's what I learned. That's how I learned to play the guitar. Was learning those songs. So there's always a part of there's always something with James Taylor that is stronger than the other ones.
Well, I like that James on your list, because I feel like he's sometimes overlooked by the annals of history. Like James lives right here in my chest.
Oh yeah, he's a classic. I mean, there's nobody quite like him, and there's nobody that plays the guitar quite like him. You just, and I mean, to the point where like I definitely won't be doing any James songs on my covers album, because like as soon as I start playing one of those songs, like there's no other way to play there's what am I gonna do like
you can't mess with perfection.
I can't mess with that. There's no way I'm gonna like play like Carolina in My Mind or Sweet Baby James any better, or sing it any better, or like, and it wouldn't be cooler doing it a different way, really.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Let's not touch that one. Let's
yeah. Yeah.
No, but I'm really excited about. So you are starting to record this cover album in March.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked about that. I would love to know. So I know you're going to be doing some more. I believe you're going to be doing some more collaboration on this one as well.
Yeah. Well, there's an amazing band. Like, most of them are my friends. About half of like Emmy Lou's normal touring band, and then like about half of like John Prine's, may he rest in peace, like his
Angel from Montgomery,
his touring band. So it's probably one of the best bands I've ever had, and then like a couple amazing singers. I don't think Liz will be on this one, although I'd like her on I'd like her on everything. But yeah, like just really, so that will be really exciting. And just picking those right songs and stuff. I've been working like kind of day and night on that, trying to figure out the right songs, and once I do have the songs, like how I can make them special, and
because I was gonna say, in terms of with covers, I know that part of that and part of the fun of that is picking songs that you can really kind of make your own. It's not you don't want to just do complete replicas of what the original is.
Right, so, karaoke.
What are things? Yeah, exactly. It's like but what are sort of some of the elements that go into picking what songs that you want to do covers of? Do you usually have an idea in mind of what kind of cover you want to do, or it's a song you love and you're like, I bet I can do something different with, like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, so I well, first of all, like these online shows that I started doing last year.
Yeah.
Like I started out with like just having fans like request their favorite songs, so I'd play like 20 covers a week or something. It was a ridiculous amount of work. Like I'm glad I didn't keep that going forever, but it was really fun though, like especially because that was like at that time that was about the only thing I was doing. So and my fans were incredible to keep tipping, and like so I still have that playlist, and then I kind of research other things and other playlists, and and just each playlist kind of narrows it down. Like I think the first one probably has like 500 or 600 songs, and then it like, goes down to 100, and now like I'm down to like 30, and I'm ready to do 20 songs. So I feel like I'm almost there. But the album is called Forget Me Nots, and
I
like
love that.
it's always really like that name and like what it means, and I kind of looked it up, and I don't think there's another album called that. Maybe somewhere, but nothing like major.
Yeah, nothing that you're going to be in direct social media competition with.
Yeah, exactly. Oops, sorry.
No worries.
It's a mechanic. my car's in the shop. But yeah, so like I started thinking about like what a forget me not would be, and like really, for me, at least on this album, it's like a song that I just I can't get out of my head like forever. It like never tires. Like the melody never tires for me. Like the meaning and the lyrics never tire for me. And also, have it be a song that I think is kind of an interesting thing to cover. Whether it's like Rodgers and Hammerstein or whether it's Radiohead. I like don't care.
Yes.
Like, but I mean, a lot of the songs, I mean, are older, which I feel like might be able to like, inject some new life into them, or maybe
kind of reintroduce them to your audience too.
Yeah, a different audience, and like, my voice, and for someone like my wife, like, she knows a lot of music that I don't know, and I know a lot of music that she doesn't know. So I'm like getting to play these songs, and like I was playing a Cyndi Lauper song the other night, All Through the Night. I love that song, and like she was like, oh my god, and she was like going to bed, and she's like, she heard me through the walls, and she's like, whatever that song is, like it has to be on the album, and I was like, oh, that was a major song for like from my childhood,
Yeah.
And she hadn't been born yet. She's like 7 years younger than me. So I don't think she'd been born yet, but so yeah, it's been really interesting kind of going through these songs and just like, just playing them, and just, really that's the best way to do it, is to play them with an interesting arrangement, and like, like, can you live without it? Does it have to be on the record? Like, if you can live without it, then it usually gets trashed or like moved to the like save playlist.
Yeah.
And also the reaction from Jess is so important,
Yeah.
because she doesn't know all of them.
I think that's actually great to have that person kind of in your house that you can be like, what do you think of this? Like, without having any nostalgia for it, like, how does this fly?
Totally. Like I can play her Dylan, like she didn't grow up with Dylan, so like I can play her Dylan songs and she's hearing them for the very first time. Like, so that's, which a lot of people will be,
Yeah, it's true.
Younger audience, even
TikTok has really illuminated me to that. It's been I suddenly feel very old being on TikTok.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Children are like, what is this? Well, I mean, to be fair, my parents were also playing us music that by all accounts, like I shouldn't have known with my generation, but like,
right.
People are playing the songs from like the 90s now. People are playing Britney Spears music, and like kids are like, what's this? Who's this? It's toxic.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. Totally. I know.
I'm becoming one of those kids these days, people. I'm not. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just keep interrupting you.
No, not at all.
Well, gonna ask you, are you ready for me to ask you some fucking dumb questions?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
Fire away.
Perfect. So, okay, start off very basic. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. How would you describe blue to someone without using the word blue?
Like fresh and like natural and like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm colorblind. You're describing blue to me. I'm not really, but in this hypothetical.
Yeah, like I don't know, like magical ocean inspired. Like I don't know. It's just a beautiful. It's a beautiful color.
I like that. How much do you know about astrology?
Like astrology is like Capricorn and stuff like that, right? Something like Capricorn. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I always get that and like astronomy mixed up. I don't know really much about either. I'm probably more interested in astronomy than astrology, but only because I don't know about astrology. Like,
well, yeah, and also because astrology is like a lot made up, but also fun. You know?
Yeah.
My mom used to make up. She used to write the astrology column for her school newspaper. So like we have a. There's a. Okay. But do you know what year you are, like in the Chinese zodiac?
No.
I don't know. I am an Aries rooster. Apparently, that makes me very aggressive, which I found to be true. But if you could say the stars ruled something about you, the stars make you more X, what would you say? What do you think about what part of the stars would most affect you?
Which part of them?
You're just like, which part of you is most affected by the stars? That's a better way to phrase that.
My heart.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like such a good answer.
No.
I like that. If you could rename one animal, which one would it be and why?
Probably the chicken, because like I have a lot of confusion over roosters and hens and chickens, and I know Lily does as well. And I think the whole thing needs to be cleared up.
What would you call a chicken?
What would you
call it?
Maybe a chicken. Cluck, like something. I kind of like animals that are just named after the sound they make, you know, like a dodo or something. Or
yeah.
A yak. I think it's a really nice way to name something. It's just from the sound they make.
The yak? Is that a thing? I like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the yak. Sure.
Perfect. All right. Okay, this is a hypothetical situation. It involves some making scenarios in your mind. You walk into a bar. The bar is not very, probably, size of a small room, very narrow. So you have the bar on one side, you have some like stools and like stuff on the other side, kind of like benches sort of stuff. And then in the back, there's like a pool table and a jukebox, but it's kind of long and narrow. It's not, I don't know how measurements work. It's probably like 15, 20 feet wide, probably like twice that size deep, right?
Right. Yeah.
The bar. There's a person behind the bar. They're making drinks. They're mixing a cocktail, and you walk in and they kind of acknowledge you. They're like, hey, there's two people sitting in the bar. There's one person at the bar. There's one person on, one of the stools. It's just a quiet, it's kind of like a little pre-happy hour. In this bar, there are a certain amount of ducks. How many ducks would have to be in this bar? They have a good happy hour deal. How many ducks have to be in this bar before you're like, I'm out. I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to drink or perform at this bar. There's too many ducks in here.
Man, it have to be a shitload of ducks, because I really like I really don't mind ducks at all. I mean, geese are a whole other thing. Geese are kind of mean-spirited little buggers, but ducks I don't have an issue with, plus my daughter loves them. I feel like, everybody would be happy. Of course, she'd be in the bar, I'm not sure, but she's been.
They like dogs. They like dogs. Or your daughter.
Yeah. I mean, Lily would love it. Like, yeah, I have no problem with ducks.
Okay, so now it becomes the question of less, the number itself, and more you know, let's make an estimate of like how loud the ducks are going to be, how hard it would be to walk through the bar because there's so many ducks. Like, are we talking a single layer of ducks? Are we talking the ducks can be stacked?
Stack them. I mean, I wouldn't want to hurt them. Like,
no, of course not.
they do get nippy. They actually do get nippy, especially if you're feeding
Okay.
them. I wouldn't want to feed them, you know, create a frenzy. But yeah, I'm really okay with a pretty good amount because I mean, as long as you're not feeding them, they do clear a nice path as you walk, you know, so you won't hurt them.
Okay.
You know?
So
they might fight with each other a little bit, but that's kind of their thing, you know.
So I'm gonna start with 40. There's 40 ducks. More or less ducks?
No, 40's fine.
40's fine? 40's the number?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna say, how about four? How about? Oh man, I don't know what it is about the way people answer the duck question.
Oh, I'd love to see how other people answer it.
I just think
I'm sure it's a different response every time, and it's probably a different response every day too. Like you could ask me that question tomorrow, and it would have been something different, which is the great thing about these kind of questions.
I had someone be like, one duck's too many ducks. I'm out. It's a dirty bar. They don't take care of it. Yeah, I was like, all right.
That's a little intolerant. I think
that's what I think too. I was like, there can probably be enough ducks that when I open the bar, they spill out.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm like, all right, there's some ducks in there.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're just playing music, I mean, you're not eating or anything, you know? I mean, if you were eating, like, you might have to get some diapers in the ducks.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that. If you were a vengeful witch, and you could only use your power to curse people with mild inconveniences, what would the mild inconvenience that you would curse your enemies with? You know, like, we're not ruining lives here. We just...
Right. Like maybe maybe just being on hold, like with like your cable provider or something like that. Like, I mean, I think that's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad thing to wish on anyone. Or like Apple support. Well, Apple's not too bad. Cable provider is probably better.
May you be on hold with your cable provider.
With Comcast. Nobody likes being on with Comcast.
I like that.
Because they make you wait and then they send you the wrong person a few times. So it's like, it's longer than just the first waiting period.
I would not wish my worst enemies to call the insurance company. That is...
Yeah, you're right. That is worse. I haven't had much of that.
So that's actually minor inconvenience. Comcast is better than like a true punishment.
Yeah, insurance company, that's not... Yeah.
I've been on lately a lot. And bless state-sponsored insurance is very important. It's very good. We should all have more universal health care. Would be great. However...
Yeah.
Was I on the phone for upwards of 6 hours getting put on with the wrong person on multiple occasions.
They just don't have enough people like working, you know?
Yeah, it's pandemic stuff, so I can't be too salty because at least I have the time and inclination to stay on the line that long, but it makes it hard. We need healthcare reform in this country, she says, and that's the thing. I would minorly inconvenience my enemies, my wealthy enemies, by having them have to personally experience healthcare reform.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you, we're kind of wrapping up. This has been so wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's been great to hang. Really great to hang.
I wanna ask you kind of my final questions. Ask everybody when we kind of get to the end of this. First of all, what is upcoming with you right now that people can watch and support and look forward to? This is probably going to air. Actually, we might be the first guest in March. So
nice.
This is probably going to air a little bit after we tape.
Right.
We tape.
Look ahead. Yeah.
People don't know what taping
The
is.
taping. I'm off to a taping.
Exactly. I know that you have your Sunday concerts live from the Lily Pad.
Yep. Yep. Almost every Sunday.
And what time? Yep. What time is that for us? You're on Eastern time.
Yeah. So it's 3 p.m. Eastern. So that, and we picked that time just because I have so many friends on the West Coast and like around America, but then also in like UK and Europe. So it makes it doable for
great.
like
I think that's
almost everybody except my friends in New Zealand and Australia. That's just, you can't cover the whole world.
You can't ever help them. They're always
yeah, it's I feel bad for them. But yeah, so I have that, which continues to be so fun, and like we try to mix it up every week. Like, I mean, this will be in March, but like this week we have a full album show, and then we're doing some preview shows of all the cover songs and like which ones I'm, as I'm going through them, like it's not even like final decisions. It's kind of fun to share that with the audience and get reactions and stuff like that. And those are great. And then, but like, yeah, in March, like we announced, like my new album is finally coming out that we recorded in like late 2019, like live in the studio, which I'm really still, I'm so grateful that I'm still proud of this record and I love it, like,
yeah,
because I normally don't after like that long, like it's been so long. So this new album, When We Wander, is coming out, and like right as I start recording the covers album. And then also just to make it a little bit more interesting, like we're launching a fan funding campaign because I can't really afford to release it on my own. But it's cool. We have lots of really cool stuff that we're like in particular this record, like I've been able to collaborate with like my local potter to do like handmade mugs. Like I've been able to like really dig into like merch design with my designer who's so brilliant, and like the vinyl is like blue sea glass, like wave vinyl. It's so rad. Like I'm just really proud of everything we're offering, and like hopefully that we're doing we started doing selling handmade guitar string jewelry, like made from my used guitar strings.
Yes.
Down in North Carolina makes that for us. So like, we're selling Jess's photos and her photo shoots. So I'm actually really excited. Like, as much as artists probably we don't really look forward to fan funding campaigns, but I'm kind of excited to like offer these things because I feel like I'm giving people some cool stuff. Like, so it's,
you're proud of the stuff that you're putting out.
Yeah, it's so, even though it is like a thing where you do need the money, I feel like you're giving people some really special like handmade things. So that's cool. And like, yeah, so we'll just keep rocking. And then we're working on one other thing too, my wife and I, that I can't even talk about yet, but it's like, I can't believe it's happening. And it's super special. And I just like, I can't say what it is anywhere because like we're just about to like sign a contract for it, but it's I'll have to come on again and tell you like once it's like public. But it's an incredibly busy time. But like one thing that like I wanted to tell you that well, I've been telling everyone this lately because my friend Susie Brown. Do you know Susie?
I don't. I don't think so. I'm sorry if I do.
No, it's okay. But she's wonderful. She's a singer-songwriter, but also a cardiologist at Vanderbilt. She's from up here. She moved down there and like created like the first part-time position at Vanderbilt for cardiology just because she asked for it, and because she's that good. But great artist too. She posted this really great thing. She listened to a podcast and then made this great post about it, and it was pretty much saying like, anytime you talk to someone and like you ask them how they're doing, like a lot of times they say, oh, I'm just slammed, or I'm just so busy. And it's like almost when you say it, it like takes energy out of your system and it like it's negative, you know what I mean? And she said like the whole point of like this thing was kind of like, our relationship to work doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be stressful, and it doesn't have to be like awful. Like we fought for this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've been thinking about that all the time because this will definitely be like one of the busiest few months I've ever had. And like, this is as far as like, I know that every single day will be like at least a 14-hour day, but like, and I'll take some time off to be with the family, of course, and stuff, but it's going to be really busy. So there's that cat. Yeah. So it's really important. I think that like we're having a lot of fun, and like, and that the busyness like doesn't equate to like being stressed out and like unhappy. So we're just going to have a lot of fun with it. Like, but there's a lot of great things to be grateful for, and then hopefully after that time we will like take a couple weeks off and like disconnect the internet and phone.
Yeah.
But like this next season is going to be really packed, but it's cool.
It sounds like, it really sounds like too that it's not just, it's packed with labors of love, like really amazing stuff that's happening. And where, oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, just that changes everything, and we've all, most of us, like I know I have done plenty of jobs that were not labors of love, and and then once you've done that, like, and some people have to do that forever. And so I just think like once you've done that, it's like, and you're able to get to something that you love, you just kind of keep fighting for that, it never stops.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. People can check you out on your website. They can check you out on Instagram. What's your Instagram handle, Jesse?
I think it's just Jesse Terry.
Yeah. Where can people go to support your fan funding? Are you on Patreon? Are you on GoFundMe right now? Where's that being?
It'll actually just be, we've decided to just build it out from my website because we don't want, so it's jesseterrymusic.com.
Nice.
And we'll make it very clear on like where people go. We haven't like built it. Like, we're like building it right. Like my team is like building it right now, but we just decided to do our own thing and like
no overhead. It's nice. Yeah.
Like not give people's money to Kickstarter. Like, nothing against Kickstarter, but I thought it'd be cooler.
No, it's nice when the money that people are giving to you to create the thing can go to that thing instead of overhead costs. Do you have any musicians, creators, small business owners, anybody who's doing cool creative shit right now that you want to shout out, that people can check out or support, or just go watch their content, whatever? Are there people that you're just like, I want to tell everyone about them?
Wow. So I mean, so many, like all of my friends, really. But I mean, there's some I really love. I mean, Music Cares is a really great one. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, like managers, agents, like roadies, sound techs. I feel like those people have gotten hit worse than musicians, because like we can't, we can do our online shows from our living room, and if we have a fan base, we can make some tips, and like we can hopefully get through. But some of those people, they can't do anything, hopefully they get some unemployment, but so I just think people, I'm always trying to think about how we can help those folks, and help our local restaurants and different things. We try to think about that as much as we can.
No, I think that's right there with you. Support, put as much money into your local businesses, your local communities, and the people who've been affected the hardest by COVID. Artists have, but if you can create something and you can put it up, that it's some help. It's everybody who works in the creative who there's not a good transitional.
It's the behind the scenes thing is tough, like, because there's not always any funds for that, and like grants, and people kind of think of agents as, and managers as sometimes the big bad folks, and they're usually not, like my team are just like the loveliest people. So I think about those folks more than myself, really.
Very good person.
No, I'm not. I mean, we're getting through. So I'm just thinking, oh my God, like, like whoever is out there that can benefit from more visibility, venues and
I think that's important.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up with our final question, Jesse,
Yes.
because this is March. We're in March now. Skip ahead a week or two.
Totally.
We're in March. Obviously, the most important celebration in March would be the Ides of March, when Julius Caesar got stabbed, due to this, prophecy, etc. What is one of either the biggest upsets in your life that you didn't expect, or something that you feel kind of just in your soul was like fate designed it to happen, like fate designed for Julius Caesar to die that day? What is your Ides of March moment?
Well, since we talked about it in this chat, I would say like losing, having my publishing company in Nashville like go out of business, and like taking me to like the South Pacific. Like that's something that I never ever could have drawn up, especially meeting my wife there, and like that launching, that in turn launching my touring career, and like giving me illuminating like what I really love the most in life, and like what I love the most about music, and like so that's a good thing that happened, even though those were great times, and I love those people that were involved in giving me like my first job in the music business. Like that probably was something that was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always kind of love when a chain of events is set off by something that you're like, man, this is just the worst. And then it's like, if that hadn't happened, then wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah. And it wasn't instantaneous either. There was many, like almost a year of suckage. Like before, like, like there was a horrible recession, and like I was waiting tables full time, and I was horrible at it. You know what I mean? Like so bad at waiting tables. I'm just,
relate so deeply.
That's the hardest job.
Many people watching will relate very deeply to that specific thing.
That's just such a hard job, and you could see like there were some bartenders and like servers that were going home every night with like just like wads of money, and you'd be like rocking like a couple fives in your pocket or something like on a Friday.
I relate so hard.
Suck at this.
I got laid off like 2 months before the pandemic started.
Oh wow.
Which actually ended up being not great, because it was shitty, but like I knew how to navigate unemployment, and also because of that I was already looking for jobs within my industry, and I was able to get a lot of opportunities writing wise that I wouldn't have been otherwise.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, I love the people I work with. The company was great. I support them 110%. I bless them every day for how patient with me, for how bad I was at that job.
Yeah.
Answering phones every day. Bless them, like
there's just some things like you're not designed to be good at everything.
I have the attention span of a 2.5-year-old. It's either completely focused for like hours on doing one menial task that means nothing, or it's everywhere all the time. So
I feel you there.
Yeah. Oh, Jesse, this was so wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I know you are crazy busy and you've got so much stuff to do. So it means a lot.
Great to see you.
So good to see you. And thank you all for tuning in on this beautiful March Fridays, hopefully when this will be up. Take the time in your day to make some good art, to support some good art, to share some good art, to find those moments of joy in your day that you can hold on to and find meaningful, because some days those things are few and far between. Sometimes they're more plentiful, and it's really great when we can just hold on to them when they happen. So thank you so much for watching. Again, Jesse, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful Friday.